Hello, welcome to the CRL Show. I'm Paul Arandale.
I'm Geoff Stevenson.
Back for another edition. A bit wet on the weekend, but a lot of footy got played. There was a few postponed fixtures. Brisbane washed out. They can't take a trick.
Yeah.
One round down. Two washouts already. Sunny Coast was supposed to kick off. That got washed out as well, postponed. So fingers crossed this weekend. We've got a lot of footy on BarTV, so fingers crossed that we can get some regional footy kicking off without any hindrance from the weather.
Yeah, I was just hoping that for those other parts that the rain has got itself out of the way.
Yeah.
There are a few trials that were cancelled, but season proper is about to kick off in a lot of areas where now hopefully it's going to be dry.
Yeah, fingers crossed, mate. Did you get out anywhere on the weekend?
I got to Redfern Oval to watch Penrith play South.
Yep.
In various grades, and Jersey flag, knock on a fair cup and stuff. I was just saying, it's a beautiful ground. I love grounds. I love like going to really nice old traditional grounds, and I just love, you watch the BarTV coverage, watch the mini game or something, just the buses in the background, people walking their dog. There are a couple of basketball courts right on the far side. I thought I could actually shoot hoops and watch the game at the same time, which would be really cool. But the way I shoot hoops, the ball will probably bounce off and onto the field and stuff. But beautiful game, beautiful ground, and there's some good footy played. It was wet, but they played. They were really good.
Yep, seemed to be raining all up and down the east coast of Australia, or especially when BarTV was concerned.
Yeah.
Pretty much rained all day at the Country Championships where I was, GIO Stadium. Shout out to Sully and Finn Williamson. They did a superb job on the broadcast commentary. And so to our camera operators, the Harms boys and Kempowski and Rob, the producer, did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and anyone that got out to the game. Like at least it's undercover there a little bit. But good on you guys, because it was anyone that got to any games really this weekend where there was a bit of rain, like good on you, because it was pretty gross out there at times. Yeah,
it certainly was. In saying that, there was a few magic moments that happened on the weekend. Some incredible stuff, incredible footy. Here's our magic moments we thought were pretty interesting. First one's the SG ball, I should say. Sydney Roosters v the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs. Now, when I first saw this, I thought, this is a great take from Chase Geoff. But look out for the fullback from the Roosters coming across. Here he is now. Look out, Teddy. This guy might be a future fullback. What a chase.
Yeah, I thought it was a try of the week.
Yeah. The Zeeble boys up in the Northern Rivers have been doing stuff like this for years. Here's Connor just running over the top of a couple of Newcastle Rebels guys. They're phenomenal. Zeebles, they've featured a lot of times on BarTV socials. And then finally, we'll throw it to Ty Ennis.
Me with Knights halfback, Ty Ennis, mate. Ty, congratulations, mate. Must be over the moon.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked, Daz. I'm so happy with the boys. Sorry. No, I'm just over the moon, So happy. We've worked so hard. We deserve it so much.
Yeah, I love those moments where a player's realised they've done something, said something wrong. I just love the reaction. I think if he'd not reacted, I wouldn't have probably picked it up. But just the, oh my God, what did I just do? Was classic. And I don't think anyone, do you reckon that anyone would have phoned in and complained? You would know. Did anyone write in I heard someone swear on BarTV?
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
It's worth the comedy of just watching a poor young player going, oh no, mum and dad are probably watching, all the relatives are watching, and here I do that.
Oh, I think it's great. You're just showing emotion on what you're thinking at the time, the first thing that comes to your head. I mean, good on Ty. He got a man of the match performance in that game as well. So
well, in a world of media training and all that kind of stuff, you're right. It is good to see them just go, oh, this is how I feel right now.
Yeah.
So, and, we've all heard words like that before. I don't think anyone's complaining.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Well, let's get into some of the results on the weekend. Knock-on effect cup, it was round 4. St George Illawarra that went down to North Sydney, a close one, 28-24. Newtown over Canterbury, 28-18. Penrith and South, where you were at 26-22 to the Panthers. Sydney Roosters 34-26 over Canberra. Manly 32-22 over Para, and the Warriors on Sunday 34-20 over Western Suburbs Magpies. Newcastle having the bye.
Yeah, there's plenty of points scored despite the rain everywhere on the weekend. Yeah. Looking at Jersey Flag round 4, the Silktails won, I think their second game against the Knights, 24-22. Penrith end up downing Souths at Redfern Oval, 30 points to 26. Canberra, 30 points to 24 against Sydney. St George Illawarra and Melbourne had 26 all draw. Cronulla went down to Canterbury 18-6. The Tigers and the Warriors a 26 all draw. And the Manly game was Manly game was postponed.
SG Ball, round 8, 16 all between Penrith and Illawarra. The Knights defeating the Storm 22-18. Sydney Roosters 36-4 against Canterbury. Parramatta 38-4 against the Norths. Souths and the Warriors had a 16 all draw as well. Cronulla 38-10 over Balmain. Canberra 42-8 over St George. And Wests 28-24 over Manly.
Brilliant. And on the Harold Mats, round 8, Sydney beat Illawarra 12 points to 0. Canberra down North 24 points to 10. The Knights defeated Balmain 18 points to 10. Parramatta defeated Central Coast 10-6. The Warriors beat South 20 points to 18. Canterbury beat Cronulla 24-22. Manly beat St George 30 points to 6. And the West, Penrith and Melbourne but all had the byes.
Yeah. Tarsha Gale Cup, round 8, West Tigers 28-0 over Norths. Illawarra 16-10 over Parramatta. Newcastle 14-10 over Cronulla. Indigenous Academy 30-0 over Manly. Canberra 38-12 over Souths. The Canterbury St George game also postponed, Penrith having the bye.
Brilliant. Now, Lisa Fiola Cup Metro round 8. The Tigers defeated North 28 points to 16. Cronulla beat Newcastle 12 points to 4. Central Coast down Manly 48 points to 0. Canberra beat South 30 points to 0. And the Canterbury St George game was postponed there as well, with Penrith having the bye.
Ron Massey Cup, round 3. A lot of postponements in this one. Rod Eastwood and Hills didn't get on. Never did Canterbury and the Mounties. But Sunday we got St Mary's defeating Glebe 30-14, and Penrith Brothers 34-10 over Blacktown. Wentworthville enjoyed the bye.
Yeah, and same goes with the Sydney Shield. There's a lot of postponements. Ride Eastwood and Hills were cancelled as well, postponed. Moorbank and Mounties were postponed. St Mary's defeated Glebe 54 points to 12, and the Manly Penrith Brothers game was postponed. Winnie having the bye as well.
Yep, all right, and we'll finish off with the Country Championship results at GIS Stadium at Canberra. It's kicked off with the Lisa Fiola Cup regional final between the Northern Tigers and North Coast Bulldogs, with the Bulldogs getting up 32-4. Some of the standouts were 2 tries from Kira Donovan and Arlie Morris. Poppy Flanders also one of the best on field for the Bulldogs, so good result from them. Laurie Daly Cup, Illawarra South Coast 27, Macarthur 16, 13-6 at half time. Archie Wheeler and Glassy 2 tries apiece. Glassy, the centre for Macarthur.
Yeah.
He's got a great fend on him.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, keep an eye on him in the future. Andrew Johns Cup, Newcastle defeated Northern Rivers 14-10. Another exciting game, a great try from Affa. One-handed, we might see a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Ty Ennis, a superb game. We just saw him a moment ago picking up the man of the match. I think it was the Bert Lowry medalist.
Yeah.
So for the losers, Jay Walpelt picked up 2 tries for the Northern Rivers, so good effort by him.
Yeah, nice.
Where are we going? Men's country champs, the Rebels 32-28 over the Titans. Matt Sorpalola, 3 tries.
Yeah.
Liam Wiscombe also picked up 2. The Zeeble brothers were superb for the losing team, the Titans.
Yeah.
Jet Forbes picked up a double, but it was a great comeback from the Titans. They almost got the Rebels in the end.
Yeah.
Finally, women's country championships was Western Rams 46-6 over the Northern Rivers Titans. Xanthi Booth got 2 tries, and Grace Blackmore was a standout as well. The Rams were just white hot in that game against the poor old Titans.
Yeah, and it's fantastic when you look at the results there for all the different games. It was spread around the state, really.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. Newcastle, Macarthur, we're heading out Western Rams, getting a win there with the women's country champs. So it's great to see that there's talent out there. Like you say, with those younger guys, a lot of them might have a connection with an NRL club already, but it's great to see them on the rep level performing. And so like you say, a few years' time, you'll either see them playing in first grade and regional rugby league or beyond.
Yeah, certainly lots of talent on show. As we said, Brisbane was washed out, and so too the Sunshine Coast was supposed to be their opening round.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'll get on this weekend. I think all the rain's gone away
Yeah, and I mean, at least that was just their round one.
Yeah.
Brisbane's got a bit of catching up to do, but that they can catch up that through the years some stage, no doubt.
All right, mate, let's get into some big hits of the week. Right, first one, Poppy Flanders, North Coast Bulldogs.
Ball turns it back underneath for Cohen. And Matt
Great hit from Flanders.
Flanders was just waiting.
Ryan McAnder, the car for
Timed
West
that
Tigers.
beautifully, did Volkov. There's a solid shot. McAnder comes in and drills Jamison to the ground.
Team camp at the party.
Milford wanted a set restart, didn't get one. Amui attacking the football.
Shot.
It was a good shot. Epati coming in.
Reeve Howard,
You're
Newcastle
gonna kick
Rebels.
deep and it'll go straight into the arms of Lee. And Lee will bring it back. Oh, puts it lifted and dropped. It was good work, Alexander, and also Howard in the tackle.
And
Slips
Mason
into dummy
Bartlett,
half. He's looking.
Newcastle
Oh,
Legend.
shot on Pritchard. But he's coming out worse for wear, the Knights player. He's still down. Referee straight away. Have a look at the shot on this.
When the hitter comes off second best, that's commitment. I'm very impressed with that. But no, there were some big hits. I think the wet weather, I feel like, brings out the big hits. They can line people up, and there's not a lot of stepping or jinking, so they go hard. But there's some big hits. You see some of those younger guys, and you think, geez, that we could be seeing that in a few years in first grade somewhere. There's some big fellas for some young guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well done to our big hitters. If you've seen better, let us know. Contacts at bartvsports.com.au or just send us a message on one of our social medias. Someone will check it eventually.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. All right. What's been happening around the trap? So let's get into around the groups.
Right, now, starting off, we've sort of got the winding up. There's a lot of trials were on, a lot of trials were postponed, cancelled. Some teams have just got resting players this time of year. Wrapping up for sort of the pre-season comps, the Yanko Wanoon Nines, the inaugural Yanko Wanoon Nines.
Might have to beat you out too.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe that is a tragic moment. Yanko Wanoon Nines. The Hawks, we'll call them. They had their first Nines comp. I love new comps starting up, and it sounds like it was a roaring success from what I saw out there. The Young ended up winning the men, 16 points to 10. Yanko won against Young, the men. So they won their own first Nines title, which is fantastic, against pretty good opposition, I'd say, when you're looking at young cherry pickers. So that was a good result. And then the women's, Cobar beat the Ivanhoe Hennettes.
Okay, Hennettes.
Hennettes,
Okay.
that's what they're called. So it was a great weekend out there, plenty of footy. I would say it was, there was prize money and stuff like that, but I'd say it was just a good experience had by all by the looks of it. So hopefully that is not just the first and only Yanko Wanoon Hawks Nines. Sounds like it was a rip-roaring success.
Can you tell me the difference between a hen and a hennette?
Well, I can. Now, if you refer to, I might put it on the screen,
If you're listening, you'll just have to pull over and look on your smartphone.
Google Ivanhoe Hennettes, and their mascot actually is wearing a bikini.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
so I think there's average hens, like just they're ones that can't talk or play footy or something like that. And a hennette is someone like a kind of almost semi-human that has to wear a bikini.
Yeah, okay.
So I like it. There are a few approaches to different clubs doing the female team mascots and stuff like that. The Spacemen, Park Spacemen had a problem, and I worked out this week, they're female are the Space Cats.
Okay. Yeah.
Which I think is pretty cool, because I think Space Women sounds a bit clunky and that kind of. So they have the Spacemen and the Space Cats.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So the Hennettes are a different twist on the theme. They could have called them
Central Newcastle have the Butcher Boys and the Butcher Birds.
Yeah. So I really like it because often it comes from, I think a lot of the time they talk to the women who are going to represent the team when they've set these teams up a few years ago, or some of them have been around longer than that. So anyway, the Hennettes ended up going down to Cobar, but that was pretty, I always say, Ivanhoe, pretty small community when it comes to their male team. Their female team, I don't know how many players there would be in the Ivanhoe area that they can cobble together to put a team together. So it's great they've got a team going at all. Yeah. For them to make the final, they only went down by 4 points at the end. So that was fantastic. we're going to talk about a few things. The Premier's Challenge was on. We'll talk about that now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
go
the
for it.
Premier's Challenge is an idea. Been around a while now, I think.
Oh, so basically, we had the Premier's Challenge last week
La-
with Gerringong and West Illawarra.
Yeah.
We've just had the country championships finish.
Yeah.
So you put together a bit of an idea for possibly like a Champions League, so to speak.
Yeah, well,
Yep.
we've always talked about a Challenge Cup or something where country rugby league teams can kind of go beyond winning the comp kind of thing. There's the Clayton's Cup, which we love. And, I was going to say at the moment, every team is actually in the running for the Clayton's Cup.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
your team right now is in the running for the Clayton's Cup. So I always go through the teams as the year goes on. It's hundreds of them at the moment. But I also was looking at this as a nice trial for Illawarra and Group 7 to kind of warm up for the year, thinking why can't the other comps do it as well as a trial? Play their local other group, and it won't, hopefully travel's not too much. Then you will have essentially winners from that, and we can go from there. It might not be straight away in the next week. A winner from one sort of Premier's Challenge plays another, but throughout the year you might get to the point where you could slot in some quarterfinals, semi-finals, finals, and we could have something.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think we've sort of mused over it before on this show, and never really thought, well, how would we do it? And then I sort of looked at how the Premier's Challenge is down south. Thought, well, you could just do that and just expand it amongst the state.
Yeah.
And then eventually, hopefully, I worked out the other day, we only need, I want to fund it with decent prize money as well. So we only need, I worked out $52,000 if anybody's interested out there.
Righto.
Clive Palmer or anyone like that. Although what I read about Clive Palmer and his effect on the Southport Tigers, but maybe not. But but I've got some I was looking at if Group 2 winners play Group 3 winners.
Yep.
Last year.
No, that makes sense.
Yep. Nambucca versus Port Macquarie. It'd be an hour and a half drive. So whoever played whoever. So that's reasonable.
Plenty of good grounds to host.
Yeah.
Port Macquarie Regional Facility or at Coffs Harbour. So
anyone
plenty of good
travelling,
venues.
an hour and a half, they could make it happen if they could subsidise it somehow. NRRL versus Gold Coast Rugby League, Ballina would play Tugun. I was trying to also look at teams that would actually put a fight up against each other. I thought that'd be a decent clash.
Yeah.
They're an hour apart. Group 19 versus Group 4, Warrialda would play Moree. They're about an hour apart. I thought that'd be a good clash. Group 16 would play Group 7 in my mind. There'd be some Snowy River Bears, but they've dropped back to George Took. So if it was a second place getter, the grand finalists would be Eden playing Gerringong. And again, that would sort of stuff up the whole Premier's Challenge there. But we
Well, maybe they could have done something with that. Was had the Group 16, which is Snowy River Bears taking on the George Took Champions. Which can't remember off the top of my head who won George Took last year. But,
no, I can't either.
Would have been a good kick-off for the...
This idea was also the premise that maybe Illawarra and Newcastle can sit this one out in a way, because I think we're looking much more regional or much more rural maybe. Group 9 could play the Peter McDonald Premiership winner. That'd be Young versus Mudgee, which I think would be a good clash. That's the longest drive. That'd be like a 4-hour drive. But those guys out there know about long distance travel for footy. MacArthur could play Canberra Cup, so Camden would play Queanbeyan. Another
it'd be a really good
decent clash.
Yep.
Group 20 could play the Pro 10 Cup. I kind of thought Group 20 and Pro 10 Cup could be around the same quality, and Darlington Point would play Rankin Springs, which is about an hour's drive away. It's not perfect.
Yeah, I'd say I think Group 20 would, I could be wrong, but be a bit higher for Pro 10.
Towel them up.
What about Group 21? Would they play Newcastle?
Oh, sorry.
Newcastle
I didn't put that down. Group 21 is the one I failed to put down, which would play Central Coast.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll be...
So the entrance versus Scone. So the thought would be that you're trying to match up groups around the same quality and the same, and not too far a drive away. Once I worked it out in my head, when I had all this time on my hands, I said, look, the most people are driving is like 4 hours, but most of them are within 2 or 3 hours. So it's not going to be expensive. It'll be a matter of just getting the players there on the day, playing, and then nicking off home. There's no accommodation. There's no worrying about food and travel and all that kind of stuff you have to worry about. That would be eight games. That would be. So then you'd have a winner from each of those. If you could find a time in the middle of the year to coordinate it, you could then have quarterfinals, then semi-finals, and maybe a final somewhere. A final that could be played. I don't know. The possibilities are endless there. Almost looking at that President's Cup model we had a few years ago.
Around, I reckon, like, if you could fit it in, I think some of these local comps that we have go for too long.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Brisbane, for example, she's going for 21 rounds.
Yeah,
That's a long season.
Yeah.
That's one that they could, I think, could definitely be condensed. Some of the other ones too as well. But yeah, if you had around that state of origin period where NRL in particular having buys, you could slot something in. Maybe the final is played between the Sydney Origin Origin game, maybe.
Yeah. The idea of it is really to appeal to the clubs, because these clubs have all won their comps.
Yep.
And to say to them, look, there's something beyond it, like the World Club Challenge has in NRL level. Something beyond you winning the comp, you're having a silly Sunday and then going, we start again next year. You can say, no, you guys are qualified now to play in the Premiership Challenge, the New South Wales Challenge Cup, whatever you want to call it. And that the end game is something really appealing, like playing, like you're right, like if they could time it around Origin time and they play it even as a precursor to a Thursday night game in Origin time or something like that, where we're a bit low on content. Or
maybe we could go the other way, the battle for the spooners. So teams that have been doing it tough, they've got no financial support or whatever, they've been struggling, they've been kicking the bucket for years. All of a sudden we get the worst two teams in country rugby league to face off. I don't know.
Spoon Bowl.
50 grand prize money.
Yes.
That'll kick them up.
I love it.
Yep.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought there's a bit of prize money in there.
Attract all the mercenaries coming out of retirement to play.
And that's when you could throw in the Pro 10 play. Throw in some of the community clubs in there as well and say, look, are we better than the worst teams in these group comps who think they're so fancy and, special and that kind of thing? I love the idea. But it was just more that I just what I noticed during the trial game period, teams do very well at organising trials against other teams, but I'm sure it's pretty piecemeal. It's like, you guys need a trial, so do we. Excellent, let's join together. Yeah. Whereas if you add a bit of structure to it, suddenly you've got something where there's a bit of interest. Yeah. I think as a fan, you'd probably go, if you're just watching your team play another team in a trial, you go, okay, let's go and watch the game, see what happens. But if you're looking at this going, look, if they can beat, if Ballina can beat Tugan, they qualify for the next round, but also it's a little bit of cloud. You can say like the NRRL, it's almost what happened with the Premiers Challenge in down at Illawarra. It's almost a face-off, group versus group kind of face-off, which I think would be a great idea. Yeah. It's I'm not going to organise it, so it's easy for me to sit on my lounge.
I mean, they tried the President's Cup a couple of seasons. COVID did get in the way. Yeah. But I guess the problem is the clubs don't buy into it. Maitland dominated that too. Yeah. I think it was the last time they had it, like Thuril, who were the premiers at Illawarra, didn't even show up. They pulled out. So, but in saying that, they probably had end of season trips planned, weddings, all type of things. So it is tough to find a spot. But look, I think if there's decent prize money and the clubs know about it, then anything's a possibility.
And that's what I had in mind. Timing was always an issue, but that's when I thought these trials was almost like every team is going to have a trial. Yep. So if you're going to have a trial, why not make it, structure it and say, look, every trial for every premier in the state, you're playing against another premier. It can be that model, it could be any other model.
Well, they do it at the NRL, don't they?
Yeah. And it could end there. They could just say, look, we Group 2 play Group 3 every year, and we just have a Premier's Challenge, and then afterwards you have a few beers and say, oh, look, we won it this year. Or you could say, okay, you guys now qualify to play the winner of NRRL and Gold Coast or something like that and go from there. But anyway, it's pie in the sky stuff. I love the idea of, I do love the idea of that as a pre-season fixture. I really liked how West played Gerringong. Looked like that was a cracker game the other weekend. And at least keep that up. But it'd be great to expand it.
Absolutely.
Apart from that, we're going to talk Cabramatta at one stage.
Cabramatta
controversy.
Surprisingly, they haven't been in the news a lot more, but they've been booted out of Ron Massey Cup and Sydney Shield. Yeah. Apparently, a few naughty things have been happening there. You got any more info on that, or?
Well, from what I understand of the club, what the club's angle was that way back in August 2024. So this is like, almost 6 months ago, they agreed that the Ron Massey Shield Cup and Sydney Shield teams were going to be run funded purely from sponsorship.
Okay.
That I'm assuming, I'm not quite who was responsible for gathering this sponsorship. So despite the fact they're Cabramatta 2 Blues and they've got a leagues club and a board and all that kind of stuff, they said, right, we're going to be paid, fully funded and paid for by as much sponsorship as we can find.
Yep.
Fast forward to a week ago, essentially the club has said, look, the sponsorship isn't going to be enough to run the teams for the rest of the year, and the club is still unwilling to hand over any of their own cash, their own money to fund the teams for the rest of the year. That's the impression that I get, is that what has upset the New South Wales Rugby League is kind of that fact, that no one was willing to kind of say, look, you come short on the sponsorship deal, but you're in the comp, you've been doing really well, we'll kick the tin for the rest of the year. I've had a little bit of look at annual reports and things like that. Cabramatta, they're not like they've had a year, last financial year, where they made $500,000 loss. So maybe that's what they're getting at. That's reasonable. I've never been on a board for a club, but if that's quite scary. Clubs shut down if they run out of cash these days. So maybe that was it. They also, having said that, seemed the year prior they made, I think, $1.5 million profit. So it's a topsy-turvy world in clubland. But that they were just essentially pretty stoic in saying, we're not going to kick the tin. We're not going to.
Fair enough.
We agreed back in August. They've referred back to this August date where they said, no, you guys we can keep those teams in the comp, but we are not going to fund them via the club. You guys need to find sponsorship. I don't know what you think. I just don't understand how late this development. You think maybe a month ago, or at least 2 months ago, they would say, look, we're going to not have the money to run.
I mean,
like sponsors are either there or they're not.
They sound like I've got splinters on, but in the backside. But I don't really know enough to say, what should be happening or whatever. But I look at it a different way. Positive. It's a shit of a ground to film from for BarTV, so at least we don't have to go there. That's about the only positive I can find out of it. But hopefully, between now and next season, something gets sorted. We can see Cabramatta, Cosera, an old tradition club, been around in the local grades for Sydney for a long, long time. So hopefully, they can get things sorted and we can see the two Blues back on the paddock in 2026.
And like, I agree. I don't know enough about how clubs are run. I know I'm sure if I was on a board, I'd be pretty confronted with teams coming up and saying, "Oh, we're 2 weeks into the comp, but we don't have enough money to pay for everything. Can you give us money?" I don't think I'd just go, "Oh, here's a pile of money." So I would understand that there'd be lots of friction within the club right now.
Yeah, and I guess other clubs too would be eyeing off those rosters and thinking, oh, geez, we might pick a few players.
Pinch away.
Yeah.
And I know that it might be a bit of commuting, but gee, there's still a lot of rural and regional clubs out there saying we seek players.
Yeah.
So if any of those players from Cabramatta just want a game and it's not about, playing locally and they can travel a bit, I'm sure there'll be a heap of clubs out there that would say, look, we need players. We'll gladly take them up. But certainly unique. It's very rare that you have a situation at this level where a team will just say, especially, like you say, Cabramatta, I would never have picked them as a club saying, look, we can't run. We have to just shut our teams down, which a bit sad, but maybe some of the controversy is going to lead to them not making this mistake next year, and they'll come back stronger, funded, and good to go.
Yeah.
We can only hope.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Yeah, but anyway, that's my round the groups. There's a lot of, like I said, it's a bit quiet with the rumours and stuff and stories out there. There's a lot of trials and a lot of preparation. It feels like there's just the calm before the storm before the season kicks off in so many comps this weekend.
Yeah, might set a little challenge for you and the viewers or listeners next week. Best jersey. Now, I'm not talking about, we're not going to go back through history, but a lot of the clubs put their 2025 jersey up on social media. Here's what our home and away shirt's going to look. Lakes United, they've gone back to the 90s. Their retro jersey was absolutely loved.
Yes.
I'll put that up on the screen if you're listening, or just Google Lakes United when they had to, I think it was when David Smith was captain coach back in the might have been early noughties, blue up the top, sort of a bit like Parramatta, but better than Parramatta. That's how I could describe it.
That's a good take on it.
Yeah, so 2025 jerseys, if you think your club or you know a club that's got a decent shirt, send them through. Also, Geoff, if you see maybe what the Snowy River Bears have kitting out in...
yeah, they're looking good.
So they might have to have an away jersey, seeing you've got the North Canberra Bears and the George Took as well.
Oh, yeah,
so,
that's true. Let's see what happens there. It'll make it a bit hard to watch a game between the two.
Yes.
I always like Goulburn, and we'll have a look at their jersey up there on the screen now. And there was one I was watching the other day, and I cannot remember the team, but I was like, wow, that's a jersey that stands out. Avondale, we talked about last week, the Avondale Greyhounds.
Yes.
And what I like is they're doing a retro jersey, but for the whole year.
Yep.
To celebrate their 50th anniversary, and I love it. I think it's just like the bee's knees. But yeah, I cannot. Trying to remember that one or so. But there
next
are.
Week.
It's a great.
Next week's a challenge.
It is a great idea because there are some great jerseys out there, and I like it. I don't know whether over the years it's a bit easier to kind of change your jersey. With modern day kind of production of jerseys and stuff, you can tweak things a little bit and that kind of thing. And it means that little clubs can do some pretty remarkable things with their jerseys. So, can't wait. I'll get on the net. I'll get researching.
All right. Around the groups.
Beauty.
All right, we'll get into, we did big hits. We may as well do tries of the week. We picked 5. If you've seen better, let us know. BarTV or contact at bartv.com.au. We'll go to our Instagram page, TikTok. We're on Facebook as well. Twitter, I believe.
Come knock on our door if you want. Yeah,
probably on MySpace as well. But here are our tries of the week.
So the short
Carly, New Zealand
restart.
Warriors.
And Lob can't get under it, and now a chance, a big one. And the Warriors, off the dropout through CO Carly, open the scoring.
A tackle that had
Chase
to be
Affa,
made. He had some
Newcastle
momentum
Andrew
in
Johns
Lawrence.
Cup.
Carter on the last. Innes will put it across the face. That's where he's going. He's going for Affa. Chase Affa!
Evie Perry, look out here, the number 5. Lisa Fiola Cup game for the Canberra Raiders. So they're in their own 10. Get the ball away, quick hands. And now look at Evie. She's got a lot of work to do. There's heaps of Souths players around. That little swerve step to beat the Rabbitohs defender. And she runs 90 metres.
Not over yet. Yeah, she got there. Fantastic.
Well done, Evie Perry of the Canberra Raiders, Lisa Fiola Cup. Another Canberra Raiders, Jamie Cowling. Couple of big runs here. Roman Tui Meyer, I think I've balls that up. Apologies. Luke Cannon here now. Another big run. Looks a bit like Liam Martin.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah. Still lots of work to do. Jamie Cowling, who started the play, backing up the score. A good Canberra Raiders try. And finally, Michael White, Penrith Brothers, also starting the play here. Quick hands here. The winger, Maluba Bahundra, does a lot of work. He gets absolutely smashed offloading the ball to Michael White, and just a little celebration at the end. But they're our tries of the week. Again, if you've seen better, let us know. It's contact at bartv.com.au. Go to the CRL Show, maybe leave a contact message as well, or go to our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah.
And
if you know where we live, just knock on our door.
Won't mind at all. Yeah.
Fantastic. There's going to be more of that because there are so many comps starting up this week on BarTV, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. The amount of tries, you guys might have stats somewhere, but how many tries are scored a week on BarTV? Insane amount.
We can count them up for you, and I think I know. Going through the Johns Dailies Cup, you're averaging about 50 to 60 tries a week. From those few games. So, quite a lot.
All available on BarTV and on the app.
Yeah.
You can actually just sit there like I did on the weekend and just go, right, I'm going to watch that now. Oh, I'm going to watch that mini game. I'm going to catch up with something I missed because I was at Redfern. Fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's, it's brilliant technology, eh? Sound like an old person. Let's go this week, April. Here we are already.
Get on.
Canberra, round 1. It kicks off the Canberra Raiders Premiership. Queanbeyan Kangaroos looking for 3 in a row. They'll kick things off against their arch rivals, the Queanbeyan Blues. On Sunday, all games on Sunday. Woden Valley v West Belconnen. West Belconnen celebrating 50 years as well, so a big season for them. Gungarland's at home to Tuggeranong, and Goulburn City host Yass in the Hume Highway Derby. I think that's what they call it. Belconnen United have the bye.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
Northern Rivers round one of my favourite comps in the world, really. Balambal host Tweed Heads. Northern United play Maris Brothers. Coogin are up against Wollumbar. Kyogle host Lower Clarence. Tweed Heads play Mullumbimby. Casino host the Premiers Ballina. And Byron Bay are up against Evans Head.
Yeah, a couple of games I'm looking forward to in that one. Balambal Tweed Coast. It's always a fierce battle, that one.
Yep.
Obviously the Lismore Derby, Northern United, Maris Brothers.
Yeah.
Coogin and Wollumbar as well, also
Yeah.
pretty close there. And I'm pretty much going back through them all again.
I know.
Yeah.
I was going to
Tweed
say,
Heads.
I'd even add Kyogle and Lower Clarence have not such a great season last season, but Kyogle have got a real push this year. They've signed some players. Things are looking on the up in Kyogle, so we'll see.
No buys either in Northern Rivers. Tweed Heads Seagulls.
Yes,
Yeah.
I thought that's fantastic, and it will be interesting to see how they kick it off against Balambal.
Yeah.
Like previously, they won the last two prior, so that'll be an interesting start for them.
Central Coast, round one kicks off. Now, with Central Coast still, there's only one game that's shown a week on, one venue, I should say.
Yeah.
So if there's 5 grades kicking off at one venue, we'll show them all on BarTV.
Right.
But Arimba is at home to the Entrance Tigers. King Gumba take on Terrigal, a bit of a derby, that one. Last year's grand final replay between the Toukley Hawks and Erina Eagles at Darren Kennedy Oval. Those games are on Saturday. Then we've got on Sunday Woi Woi v Wyong. Chris Hyde, a friend of BarTV, apparently he's come out of retirement to play for the Roosters, Woi Woi Roosters. So that'll be great. Berkeley Vale, they have the bye.
Yeah, fantastic. James Maloney too. Is that he's kicking off the season?
Yeah, I don't know if he's playing or not. But is he Berkeley Vale?
We'll have to look into that. Yeah. Oh well, you'll decide next week, I guess.
Yeah.
Newcastle and Hunter round one, new comp up there with some new teams in it. Dudley are playing Raymond Terrace on Friday night.
Battle of the Birds.
Fantastic.
Perfect for black and white TV.
Yes.
With, the Magpies v the Magpies.
Friday night footy. How good is that? The Mighty Cobras.
Yeah, they're back.
Yeah, are playing West Falls End. Dora Creek are back, and they're playing Lakes United, and Waratah are up against Maitland.
Yeah, always an interesting comp, Newcastle and Hunter. I think there's 4 or 5 grades again. So the beauty, they do have, the first month is almost like, if that team is not up to the standard, they can drop back and promote other ones. So what you see, or what you did see there on your screen, or what we've just mentioned, some of those teams may drop out.
Question without notice though, does that happen often with A grade, or do many teams go up to A grade, or does it feel like because it's the top?
Yeah, it does. I mean, the rule of thumb was always that the winners of and runners-up of B grade would get promoted. But the problem with Community Rugby League is that those teams in B grade that won, and it could be a completely different team the following year. So, you have your club stalwarts that will back up no matter what. But if you lose, 4 or 5 quality players, so all of a sudden you're not up to the higher grade. So
and we'll see
it's a tough one to juggle.
We'll see that with Dora Creek because they dominated A grade and then they went to the Central Coast last year. They're back. But we'll see what they're coming back with against some of these teams that have been there last year.
Yeah. Where were we? Group 7, round 1. Saturday, Gerringong and Berry kick things off. But Albion Park v Stingrays, that's going to be the feature game under lights. Then on Sunday, Kiama v Jamboree. Jamboree apparently picked up a few players, so Superoos could be on the march again. Milton Ulladulla, they're home to Nowra, and Shell Harbour Sharks, who are also looking pretty strong for 2025. They have the bye.
The Jamboree Golden Valley Superoos, to correct you, with their sponsored, their named sponsor now.
Yeah, we'll just keep
I'm
calling them
sticking
Superoos.
with it.
No.
Okay, the Sunshine Coast, round 2, they will finally kick off. I guarantee it, promise you. Caboolture host Coolum. Maroochydore are up against Caloundra. Biwa are up against Stanley. Noosa play Kawana, and Nambour have the bye.
Yeah, fingers crossed they get on up there.
Yeah.
Gold Coast round 1, Tugun at home to Runaway Bay, Currumbin hosts Southport, And on Sunday, you've got Burleigh v Helensvale. Tugan looking to go back-to-back. They'll host Runaway Bay. That's going to be the feature match.
Yeah, that'll be a cracker. Brisbane up to round 4 again. Hopefully they get on the park. Redcliffe are hosting Wests. Wynnum are playing South Logan, and Carina at home to Valley's Logan Pride have the bye.
Yeah, so that's all the regional stuff. We move back into the metropolitan area, I guess you call it. The Knock-On Effect Cup, New South Wales Cup, round 5. Penrith host Norths. Parramatta v St George, Illawarra and Canberra and Newtown, all on Saturday. Then Sunday, you've got Manly v Wests, Souths v Sydney at Redfern Oval, and Canterbury take on Newcastle. As I said, all those games Sunday. The New Zealand Warriors have the bye.
Yeah, now New Jersey Flag round 5 will kick off. Cavite Silktails host New Zealand Warriors in what might be their 3rd win. That'll be a cracker of a game.
You've tipped it.
For sure. Hosting, they're on fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, that'll be a cracker of a game against the Warriors. It's sort of the local-ish derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
About as close as you get for the Silktails.
Short swim.
Yeah, don't you reckon? I don't know. Anyway, Parramatta are hosting St George, Illawarra. Canterbury at home to Newcastle. Canberra play Cronulla. Penrith up against Melbourne. Manly host the Tigers, and Souths play Sydney in another derby.
SG Ball, round 9, the final round before we get into semi-final football. It's a top 8 this year in SG Ball, Harold Matts.
Okay.
Round 9, Canterbury v Souths, Canberra against Wests, St George and Newcastle. Balmain take on Illawarra. Melbourne travel to Shark Park to take on Cronulla. Manly v Parramatta. The Warriors take on Sydney Roosters, and Norths are at home to Penrith.
Fantastic. And Harold Matts, is this their last round as well?
Yep,
round 9. Canterbury hosts Souths. St George up against Cronulla. Balmain play Illawarra. Melbourne up against Canberra. Manly versus Para. The New Zealand Warriors playing Sydney. And Penrith versus Central Coast. Norths also playing Wests, and Newcastle have the bye.
Final round of Tarsha Gale Cup, Cronulla take on West Tigers. Indigenous Academy against Illawarra. St George host Penrith. Canterbury take on Parramatta. North do battle with Souths, and Manly host Canberra. Newcastle having the bye.
Beautiful. Now, looking at Lisa Fiola Cup round 9. Cronulla are up against West Tigers. Central Coast host Illawarra. St George are at home to Penrith. Parramatta versus Canterbury. Norths are playing Souths. Manly are up against Canberra, and Newcastle again with the bye.
Ron Massey Cup, round 4. Hopefully they all get on this weekend. Canterbury at home to Hills Bulls. Mounties host Ryde Eastwood. St Mary's take on Penrith Brothers, a local derby there. And Glebe and Wentworthville at Wentworth Park. Blacktown have the bye.
Fantastic. And the Sydney Shield round 4 again. Hopefully they'll get on the field. Moorbank are up against the Hills Bulls. Mounties host Ryde Eastwood. Penrith Brothers are against St Mary's, and Glebe are up against Wentworthville with Manly Leagues with a bye.
Yeah, a few midweek trials are happening as we're recording this. Some of them might be on BarTV Sports. Just refresh your page. They might be happening right now. But it's a few trials that got washed out the weekend just gone. A few of them have been rescheduled for midweek. So interesting trials. The clubs are keen to play them. It's funny how some clubs and coaches want trials, and others, we'll just get into it. So.
It's a real mix out there. There's a team. Who's coming back in the George Talk Shield? I can't recall. One of those nights.
Somewhere in Jindabyne, is it?
No, it's not Snow River Bears. It's another one.
Okay. Yeah.
The Devils, Narooma.
Narooma.
I got it. So Narooma, they're coming back after a year. And
they're in Group 16.
Group 16.
Googong? Is it Googong? The Goannas? They're in George Talk?
No, I think I got the comp wrong.
Right.
I think Narooma are back in Group 16.
Okay.
But they've decided to just go straight into the season. No trials. And it's sort of interesting because they're kind of coming back. So they're kind of like trying to get it. I thought that'd be a time you want to play a lot of trials, get a bit of combination going on.
Well, I think if it's a small enough comp, like if it's 18 comp and it's a top 5, well, you don't even have to win half your games to get into the semi. So, just work it all out in the first few rounds.
Exactly. And the abridged, like Protein Cup and things like that, there aren't a lot of games they play in the whole season. So a trial can soak up, it could be 1/9 of the games you play is a trial. So I can understand why they might say, no, let's just get out there, train hard. everyone's got a different approach to it. Well, I guess, you know, only
Yeah.
only these teams will know whether it's going to work for them or not once the season kicks off.
All right, mate. Nothing else to add. I think we're all good.
No, we're all good.
We'll get out of here before Craig Johnson boots down the door.
Yeah.
That's all from me, Paul Arandale.
Yeah, I'm Geoff Stevenson.
We'll catch you next week on the CRL show. If you can't get to a game this weekend, well, the next best place to watch it all is at BarTV Sports. And yeah, let us know if you've seen a great try, a great moment. Yeah, we'd love to share it because it's bloody hard going through all the clips just trying to find 5 good tries.
There'll be plenty to come. There's all these comps starting up this weekend. They'll be flowing. So yeah, send some in.
Yeah, and also if you've got any news, as I said, West Belconnen celebrating 50 years.
Yep.
Your club's got a celebration coming up. We want to know about it. We want to share it so you can reach as many of your old boys and old girls as possible.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Let us know.
Nice.
All right, we're done. See you next week.
Cheers.